Terrifying signals heard by submarines. Okay, I actually kind of want to watch
Ocean
this.
mysteries don't.
And the thumbnail said, human is food. So they went down in a submarine and a mermaid went, human is food.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have this haunting call. Whales truly are some of the coolest animals on Earth, and humpback whales are no exception. The males of the species are known for their songs, which last from 10 to 20 minutes and are actually pretty complex. They will repeat these songs for hours at a time, and it honestly isn't exactly known why they sing these songs at all. All the males in the group will produce the same song, and it will change seasonally. The females are also able to produce noise, but for some reason it is only the males who seem to produce these long songs. It is unclear how the whales even produce
a species in which only one of the sexes produces a impressive species defining sound. I wonder what that could possibly be used for.
So let's take a listen to a more haunting track released by the humpback whale.
Released. Nice. I feel like I'm in Finding Nemo. Does this, if you have thalassophobia, I feel like this is the scariest thing you've ever watched. Just open ocean and that sound.
I'm not alone in thinking that that was the most.
It sounds like when I went into the deeper part when I played Subnautica, when I just swam all the way out and started hearing weird noises.
Beautifully haunting sound I've ever heard come from the sea.
Whale just dropped a new track.
Imagine being alone in the ocean, not knowing what that was, and then hearing it. Probably pretty terrifying, right? At least we're all safe here in YouTube land. In our number 9 spot,
yes, because in the ocean I am so endangered by humpback whales, because so many people have died to humpback whales. Probably no one, and if anyone, it was probably someone who got crushed by accident because they were swimming with them like a dumbass.
Chorus. Okay, so out of context, if I played you this sound, what would you think it is?
The background noise in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, as it turns out, this sound was indeed captured under the water, and these are the sounds of fish calls. While I always expected the chorus of this recording actually helped scientists realize that there are fish who sing together in a chorus every day at dusk.
There's research that takes place off the coast near me with some kind of sound recorder that's like in the ocean, and based on like the measurements of calls of drum and stuff like that, they can measure tides and you know, that kind of thing. It's a super cool study. Basically you can tell like the location and distance and activity of all of the fish that make sounds, that have like mating calls and stuff like that, like drum and croakers.
I guess on the list of creepy noises, this one is less creepy and more just informative. In our number 8 spot today, we have the whistle. This is a sound that was first recorded in 1997 by the NOAA and was the source of many mysteries for years, while people speculated about what may have caused the sound. While it still isn't exactly clear, it is now believed that the sound may have come from an underwater volcano eruption. If you didn't know, underwater or submarine volcanoes are located in all oceans on our Earth, and they're extremely interesting. There are certain kinds of marine animals that only exist near these extreme environments.
Does she mean hydrothermal vents?
Are located near the areas of tectonic plate formations, which are also known as mid-ocean ridges. There's a YouTube user
Is she calling hydrothermal vents underwater volcanoes? I thought for a second she meant actual underwater volcanoes, but the more she described them, I think she's talking about hydrothermal vents.
First, we'll listen to the sound played at 10 times the original speed. The comment read,
"Hello?
It could be the sound of something moving through tunnels. 1. Volcanic eruptions and gases. 2. Something big and hungry."
Was that not just like normal ambient water noise?
In our number 7 spot today, we have bloop. Why are all of the weirdest ocean sounds first recorded in 1997? Bloop is another one that came from that year, and it was a loud and unusual sound that was placed as occurring several times off the southern.
You guys remember when we watched a video that was the bloop versus the megalodon? And it was literally Cthulhu. It was the god of the universe. It controlled time and like people's perceptions. And then it lost to the fucking megalodon in a fight.
At first, researchers were confused because, while the sound was actually similar to known sounds of living creatures, it was just way too loud that not even the blue whale, the largest living creature, could have produced it.
It's not similar to animal sounds at all.
As it turns out, it is in fact not the kraken, and instead it is actually consistent with ice quakes that are generated by large icebergs as they crack and fracture. It seems like this sound, going with that explanation, doesn't really make sense, but hey, I'm no scientist. But here's the sound for you to judge for yourself.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound like an iceberg scratching and cracking.
Biotwang. In 2014, researchers and scientists heard weird sounds coming from the Mariana Trench, which, for the record, seems like the worst place for there to be strange noises coming from.
That's the blue hole.
For years, experts couldn't pin down this sound, and it was dubbed the Western Pacific
Such a low-quality
Biotwang.
photo, too.
And while there is now a theory that was proposed...
Imagine getting a photo that is this low quality just for it to be wrong.
Posed by researchers from Oregon State University, they have also said that they might be entirely wrong. First, for reference, here's a little clip of the sound I'm talking about. Okay, so if you're like me,
all these sounds are so
immediately
meaningless.
went to theory put forward by the Oregon State researchers was that perhaps this may be a new type of baleen whale call. Okay, that's probably the best of all
Not a
of the
baleen whale. What are these photos? She showed the Mariana Trench and showed a giant blue hole and then said baleen whale and showed the fucking Alaskan bullworm from SpongeBob.
In our number 5 spot today, we have Julia. Julia is a sound that was recorded in 1999 by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric
Apparently this one's
Administration,
famous, but I haven't
or
heard this.
NOAA. It is now believed that this sound was caused by an iceberg running aground off Antarctica. The sound, however, was insanely loud. It was so loud that it could be heard over the entire equatorial Pacific Ocean Autonomous Hydrophone Array. Researchers were later able to
Those are
hear it
words.
sped up at 16 times the original speed, but today we are going to listen to a clip of the sound at regular speed because I think it is much more eerie this way.
Nice. Iceberg. Are you guys scared?
In our number 4 spot
Are you
today,
terrified?
we have
Wait, terrifying signals heard by submarines? I just remembered the title of this video. None of this has been about submarines at all. They haven't even mentioned a submarine yet. I totally forgot about that.
Okay, this is one that I'll admit was not captured by a submarine, but it was still underwater and it truly is terrifying. A few
Wait,
years
what?
ago,
You think this one wasn't captured by a submarine? None of these were captured by submarines. These are all captured by, like, underwater audio technology.
beluga whales have been called the canaries of the sea, and for good reason, but Nock really wanted to up the ante and instead blessed us all with this sound.
Sounds like something I would hear in a Fortnite lobby. I'd be loading into Fortnite and this is what would play.
With this sound. Nock had this.
It's just some like 14-year-old in Ohio eating their mic in the Fortnite lobby. Okay. Yeah.
Uncanny ability to mimic the rhythm and tone of human voices, and it truly is kind of frightening.
I don't think
It, of
that's what
course,
he
is
was
also a
doing.
little... In our number 3 spot today, we have the bioduck. Since the 1960s, this sound has absolutely stumped researchers who heard it. This sound was basically what the name attributed to it would suggest. It sounded like some sort of mechanical duck.
Sounds like a printer, a fax machine.
As it turns out, this mysterious sound was actually the call of the minke whale. Researchers still aren't exactly clear as to what the call means to the whales, but it was a fantastic discovery that finally
does she keep saying we don't know what whale calls mean?
50-year-old scientific mystery.
They're not just like screaming into the void for no fucking reason. Whale calls have a pretty distinct purpose.
Just for reference, here's
Sick.
a clip of that sound played at 20 times the original speed.
This is so meaningless. This is white noise. People don't understand, first of all, 20 times speed. Second of all, people don't understand when you project a sound through the water, it is not staying at its like original sound level. And then when you project it hundreds of miles through the water, why is it sped up? Because we probably wouldn't be able to hear it because we're humans if it wasn't sped up.
In our number 1 spot today, we have an earthquake.
The
Okay.
#1 terrifying signal heard by submarines. So far, not a single one has been heard by a submarine. Surely this one will be,
So
though.
to add another creepy Mariana Trench sound to this list, we have one that was taken from the bottom of the Challenger Deep.
Didn't the video's thumbnail say human is food? Wasn't that the thumbnail of the video?
The Challenger
I've been
Deep
trolled.
is actually pretty noisy.
I've been
and that is
debated.
because of
Just sounds like, if I could imagine what an earthquake sounds like, it would be this.
I'm not gonna lie, while being one of the scariest things I've ever heard, this is also one of the coolest things I've ever heard in my life.
That's the scariest thing you've ever
Science really
heard.
is just so cool sometimes.
Okay, so not a single one of them was heard by a submarine. Not a single one of them was scary. And the thumbnail, which said human is food, was just not relevant at all. That's upsetting. I was really hoping I was going to get to hear them tell me that there was a mermaid that said human is food.